So, new chapter, chapter 0. Or I guess the prologue, I don't know. It's the first chapter in the book. The fog presses against Harbor Pinnacle's mirror glass like a predator out of cage, blurring. Oh wait, I read that wrong. The fog presses against Harbor Pinnacle like a predator out of cage. Should that be a period? No, it's comma. No, it's comma. It's comma. It's comma. In the vague shapes of power, that same uncertainty hums in me, a knot of tension coiling between my shoulders, the echo of a wound I built a fortress around, a familiar ruin I also need to see in her. Inside my office, breathes shadows, dim and controlled just the way I prefer it, but the monitor glows, always glows, and there she is. Mara sits cross-legged on her bed, the lone flame sharpening her features, thickening my pulse. The journal I left for her weeks ago rests against her drawn-up knees. Her fingers curl around the pen I made sure she would find. She writes, her strokes deliberate, controlled. She found her rhythm after weeks of indecision. The words finally obey. The flame throws a flicker of light across the face. Okay, hold on. Not a flame. The lone light sharpening. We like the light. We'll get rid of that sentence because that doesn't make sense anymore. She doesn't know I'm watching. Her ignorance is the foundation of the sanctuary. Let's pause. I knew she would find. She writes her strokes deliberate control. She found her rhythm. After weeks of indecision, the words finally obey. She doesn't know I'm watching. Her ignorance, the foundation of the sanctuary I'm building, and it is my design. But her body responds anyway. The light tilt of her head when she reaches for a word, the way her tongue darts across her bottom lip. I memorize each gesture, each tell, each unconscious signal, a code I've learned to break, one that reveals what she needs. Right now, she needs to write. And I gave her that journal. I gave her that the journal, the pen, the silence she needed to bleed her soul onto pages that will eventually be mine. The air thickens with the thought of her words belonging to me, but the satisfaction is edged with risk. A prize left unguarded is a prize waiting to be broken. Therefore, I must contain her. I don't really like that. Don't like this. Um, this is not a new impulse, but the culmination of one. Uh, this is not a new. For 70 days, this ritual has consumed me, an intricate dance of observation, and intervention, drawing her closer to the truth I've engineered since the first night I saw her. As I watch her, the long simmering obsession boils over, and the need for control is so sharp my knuckles go white against the desk edge. Excuse me. She shifts, and the warm glow traces the line of her bare thigh where her oversized sweater has crept up. Heat shoots straight through me, visceral and demanding. She doesn't see how the light worships her skin, how every movement she makes tightens the air in my lungs. I watch her, the masterpiece left unguarded, and the sight sharpens my focus, reinforcing every detail of the sanctuary I built upstairs. Windows facing the harbor, walls lined with books chosen to shape her, Desk position for morning light, a space created for her surrender. Soon. The word is a promise I've been making to myself for weeks. Soon she'll be here in the sanctuary I built, where I can protect her properly, free from the financial. Okay, that's not wrong. Free. This is wrong. So, wrong. Well, not wrong, but there needs to be more here. So, free from the financial worry, free from her indecision, and most importantly, making sure Sovereign Circle doesn't get their hands on her to control me. And then that gets re-brought up earlier. I think that will still work. Cool. But the sanctuary is useless if the walls are breached. My focus shifts from her image to the city beyond the glass. I know a threat is coming. I feel it in the city sun. The sovereign circle is a task. Maybe I didn't need to say that because it's addressed in this next line. Never mind. It's fine. The sovereign circle is metastasizing, clearing territory in Windmere Heights with the kind of violence that leaves no witnesses, tightening their grip on the district and on her. The thought brings with it Jack's frustration, a low hum I feel beneath the city's nose. He is right to be restless. Ever since he found my stolen books at that human trafficking auction, he's seen what the circle is hunting for, not just territory, but the souls they can sell like livestock. That restless fury is precisely what makes him so volatile but a useful weapon. When I can aim, he moves with the certainty of a man who shed his illusions, and I intend to wield him. This is a war of shadows, and they're making their move. I won't let her become a pawn. But they hunt pawns. They don't see the real target. She is the variable they haven't accounted for. Her vulnerability, precisely calibrated to a need they could never understand. The thought of their hands on her skin is a spark in a tinderbox. I will dismantle the city block by block before I let them touch her. The force of the thought sends a low burn through my arms as I shift in my chair. The thought of it doesn't disturb me. A lesser man might search for moral resistance. I only see clarity. But to acknowledge the lesser man at all is a weakness, so I crush his voice. With that voice gone, there's no other option. This is my nature. This is my function. I will take what I want and have the clarity to call it protection. Banger! This is my function. We already talked about a function. We can get rid of this line. This is my function. I take what I want to call it. We don't need to have a function. No, we can keep this line because it ties in really nicely to this. This is my function with all things of value. A masterpiece isn't meant to be witnessed from afar, it's meant to be acquired. And because she is mine, that acquisition will come with a process. Any man who betrays Mara burns. A sharp clack from the hallway cuts through my thoughts, a sound that doesn't belong there. Then the door slams open behind me. The sound jatters my sanctuary like gunfire. I spin, my hands moving towards the desk as I see Stack drumming in, fury coiled in his frame. His shirt sleeves are rolled, badge clipped to his belt, gun visible at his hip, but it is the newspaper crumpled in his fist that makes my pulse spike. We're too late, he says, his voice raw, a tremor of grace splintering the words. I don't ask what he means. In this world, there's only one way to be too late. The need to shield her from this physical impulse, a need to sever the connection before the ugliness bleeds through. My hand slams the console and the screen goes black. The absence of the feed punches the air from my lungs, a sudden void where her presence used to be. Show me, I say. Jam slams. Did we already do the slamming? No. Jack slams the newspaper down on the sharp sound. The sound sharp in sudden silence. The headline screams up at me, but I don't need to read it because the failure is already etched into Jack's face. I see a face in the grainy photo, and beneath And the truth lands in fragrance. Another girl dead. My mind races, connecting the location to the only loose thread that matters, the one from the human trafficking auction. 16 years old, Jack says, his voice hollow. Found her in a warehouse in South Hollow. They treated her like fucking livestock, tortured her, branded her, left her for the rats. The words land like fists to the guts, but to the guts, to the gut. But I keep my expression neutral, even as the muscle in my jaw tightens to the point of pain. The circle's expanding. Jack continues pacing now. They're not just hitting Harbor District anymore. They're moving into Windmere Heights, hunting for new merchandise. Young women, scared women. His words blow into a single point of focus. He says the name, and it echoes Windmere Heights. My mind replays the words and the name. We already know it's Windmere Heights, though. Don't we already know it's Windmere Heights? Yeah, so we already know that that's going on up here. So this statement is redundant. So we can get rid of that sentence because we already know the name. Yeah, okay. The name solidifies into a threat, target painted on her back. My jaw clenches, my hand curl into fists on the table, but I don't speak, not yet. I drag my focus back to the room. Jack's coiled energy threatens to shatter their calm. We can't keep playing defense, Ethan. Now, after my chief told me to stand down at the auction case, we need to know who in my department is on their payroll. My focus is pulled from Jack as the silence stretches, broken by a soft click from the doorway. Adrian slides in like smoke, his flannel unbuttoned over a threadbare shirt, sharp, calculating glint in his gray eyes. Her charting, he says, voice low. Figured you want me here for whatever Jack's discovered. Jack gestures to the newspaper. Dead girl, circle expansion, the same shit we've been tracking for months, except now it's accelerating. Adrian picks up the paper, scanning the headline with detached efficiency as someone who's seen too much death. His expression doesn't change, but his eyes tighten slightly. They're getting bolder, more confident. He says, more confident, which means that they think they have protection. The accusation hangs in the air. Or they think we're too slow to stop them, Jack snaps. Jack's accusation lands between us, and the word weak tastes like rust. I let the sting fade because their hunt is irrelevant. My only priority is the foundation of my design. This is a weird sentence. That's a weird ending. Weird sentence. Tie it more closely to claiming Mara. This requires precision. I remind myself that patience is a weapon, not a weakness. There's a difference. Adrian sets the paper down, looks directly at me. We need leverage, something that forces them to come to us instead of us chasing shadows. It's the inevitable challenge. The air shifts. Adrian's mouth tightens. Jack stops pacing, watching my reaction. They want you, Adrian continues, voice steady and calculating. Your Durlo connections make you valuable. James has soldiers they need, access they crave. So I ask, though I already know. So we give them what they want, or at least make them think we will. Jack nods, catching on. Set up a meeting, make them think you're willing to negotiate. The plan is immature-ish. Want to try running that by Durlo himself? The words are a dry challenge. Jack plants his hands on his hips. And if Durlo approves this, then what? Adrian leans against the wall, studying me with those ash gray eyes, and we use bait, something to prove you have vulnerability that they can exploit. The suggestion sucks the air from the room. My focus narrows. Bait. The word itself is a violation. No. The refusal lands in the air. Immediate absolute, leaving no room for negotiation. Adrian meets my gaze, unblinking. The variable, Mara. With their reach inside the PD, they'll have found... This doesn't make sense. She hasn't done anything illegal. Why would she be in the system? we need to rephrase this. Mara hasn't done anything illegal to be in the police system. Ethan has been following her, make the connection. They could have picked up on that. Boom. She's not leveraged. The silence that follows is a weight in my lungs. Jack stares at me, something shifting in his expression from recognition to disappointment. Adrian just watches, calculating, always calculating. Let's see. Ethan, Jack says carefully, she's already a target. You already know what they do to women, what they sell. The moment they confirm you care about her, she becomes an asset to use. His logic is a blade against my control, and I feel a twist. I slam my palm on the desk. She's not leverage. She's not bait. She's not a fortress built for it. This doesn't. That doesn't sound right. She's rephrased to feel more in the moment. Reject. We'll just get rid of it. I don't like it. The echo of the impact fades, leaving a ringing silence. She became bait. She became bait the moment the moment your obsession with her started. So Adrian says, his voice cutting through my denial like a shard of glass. The moment you started the surveillance, the moment you decided she was yours. The words aren't condemnation. They are a fact, and the cold weight of it settles in my gut. But facts can be rewritten. The one doesn't matter. That one doesn't matter. I don't care. Mara is not a data point. Mara is not bait. She is the foundation for a design I've been building. She is the foundation. This is so clinical. Why is it so clinical? This sounds clinical. Tie it into Ethan's obsession. That's fine. Find another way, I say. Jack leans over the desk, his fist clenched at his sides. There is no other way. Not if we want to end this before more girls die. Your Doral connections are valuable, yes, but what they really want is proof that you're controllable, that your power can be absorbed into their system. They need to know you have something to lose. He's describing a reality I refuse to accept. I will not lose her. Bullshit, Adrian says. So we're cutting through there. This isn't strategy. It's your damn. It's obsession. You have behavioral logs, a tracker on her phone. You built a cage around her for months. His gaze meets mine, direct and unflinching. Adrian presses his voice low. We know you've been trailing her. If that's not something to lose. This needs to get rephrased because they're trying to use Mara as bait. Ethan saying no. We've already established he's obsessed with her. He's already started all the surveillance shit. So this needs to get reframe this as we already have the security on Mara. Why just the circle must have spotted. Why not use it? The question is a blade demanding an answer. Reframe this to show Ethan's internal thought process. About the danger of using Mara as bait. The answer forms, they will take her and shatter her. They will answer forms and shatter her. I know the old calculations are obsolete. The risk has changed. She's the line. And using her is the one line. I find another way. I deliver each word precise and final. Adrian pushes from the off the wall, movement sharp. The strategic advantage. I don't care about strategic advantage. Jack asks them, what do you care about? I don't answer him. Jack's voice turns low, scathing, because you care more about your personal collection than stopping the circle from torturing more 16-year-old girls. Accusation hits, but I don't flinch, don't apologize, don't explain, because he's right, at least partially. I watch them, and even some of what they're saying is true. Their strategies, their morals, their entire goddamn war, it's all just noise. Only she is real. We find another way, I repeat, and this time my voice carries through enough ice to freeze the room. Jack and Adrian exchange the look. Let them. Their logic's a weakness I won't suffer. As if mirroring my thoughts, the city frogs against the glass, thick as a shroud. The air inside the tower is charged with my absolute resolution. I won't wait for the next move. I'll accelerate my plans for her now. She's mine, and I don't share what's mine, not even to save the world. And soon she's going to understand that too.